I see a lot of people talking about this topic, man. The Giants should definitely wait on Arch Manning, the nephew of Eli and Peyton Manning, the next great quarterback that's going to come save this franchise. The Giants should definitely trade away all their picks and definitely wait next year for Arch Manning. I'm here to tell y'all, man, that thinking process is flawed. Completely flawed. We're here to talk about it, man. Arch Manning, if you don't know who he is, once again, is a nephew of Eli and Peyton Manning, currently a quarterback at the University of Texas. And Arch Manning, hey, obviously he's in that family tree of the Manning brothers, the Manning family overall, even thinking about their father. And overall, man, Eli Manning was a franchise quarterback, probably the best quarterback in New York Giants history, is the best quarterback in New York Giants history. And then Peyton Manning for the Indianapolis Colts and the Broncos, having a pair of Super Bowl rings, as well as Eli Manning. Arch Manning obviously has the bloodline within him, right? Arch Manning could be a great quarterback for any team that he's going to get drafted on. But can the Giants really bank on selling their picks this year to go out and punt on a full season of football to draft a guy like Arch Manning? That's just ludicrous to think that can actually happen. It's tough to think about. Now, looking at what Arch Manning has done so far, listen, Arch Manning coming out, going into the college, he was a top prospect and was looking to obviously make his impact wherever he was going to go. Everyone was wondering where he was going to sign. He could have virtually went wherever he wanted to, and he decided to sign with Texas. Now, something that he didn't see on his radar was Quinn Ewers staying another year at Texas, obviously delaying the process of Arch Manning, being draft eligible. Now, people are sitting here talking about, obviously, Quinn Ewers is in his last year right now for Texas. Arch Manning hasn't really got too many reps at Texas, but they're looking at next year being the year that after Arch Manning has his 1 year in college, that he can hit the NFL draft, and the Giants should be in prime position to take him. Now, once again, if you don't know where the Giants stand, and if you do, I feel bad for you. If you don't, I still feel bad for you. The Giants currently sitting with the 3rd overall pick right now, and the Giants only sit with 2 wins. They're at a 3-way tie, but obviously strength of record kind of positions the draft order differently. And the Giants are sitting at number 3 behind the Raiders and the Jaguars. With other teams ahead of the New York Giants, you're worried about them getting jumped to potentially take a quarterback that they want. But let's say the Giants don't win any games in the rest of the season, and I'll go ahead and post the next couple of games they have. You let me know if you see any W's there. I don't. Let's say they don't win any games. There's a chance that they land the 1st overall pick, either 1 or even 2. And I don't see them winning a game once again. So maybe they honestly will land at 1 or 2. Do you think the Giants should definitely trade back and try to pivot for next year? That's not a given. That's not a given. And now, where have we seen this in recent history? You look at a team like the Chicago Bears, right? The Chicago Bears had the number 1 overall pick. They traded back with the Panthers. They got a ransom, and they were able to position themselves to go get Caleb Williams. Now, here's the things that went right for the Bears in this scenario, and where it might not go right for the New York Giants. Right now, the New York Giants do not have a quarterback on their roster that they're confident in. The reason why the Bears ended up making that trade is because they had Justin Fields on their team that they felt, hey, trade back, get some ammunition, get some players to surround Justin Fields, and see if you can, obviously cement him as your franchise quarterback. They went ahead and did that. The next following year, the Panthers had the worst record in the league, which landed them a number 1 overall pick once again. So they selected Caleb Williams, traded off Justin Fields, and obviously you see where the Chicago Bears are right now. Is it panning out right now? It's not, but this is just 1 year into his career. I think it's too soon to tell on that. But overall, for the Chicago Bears making that decision, the Giants scenario is completely different. They don't have a quarterback that they're leaning on. They don't have a quarterback that they're saying, hey, let's trade back out of a prime position to take a quarterback. Let's trade out of it, stock up some picks, and hopefully we're in a better scenario to, support the team, because that's what the Bears did it for. They didn't do it to select the quarterback next year. That wasn't the plan. If the Panthers didn't have the 1st overall pick for them, which obviously Chicago Bears owned, they might have not even been in a position to draft another quarterback. So for the Giants to even think about doing this, I don't think it's on their mind at all. But for the fandom, let's be honest, guys. Can this Giants team do this again? Now, this is probably one of the worst seasons we've seen in franchise history. And I don't mean to sugarcoat that. I don't mean to overlook it. I'm being dead serious when I say this. Can the Giants go out there and do that again next year and lose just as much? There's no giving that that's going to happen, especially considering how we feel right now as a franchise. They're in a position to possibly take, Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward, and they pass up on that opportunity. What is it going to send the message to the locker room, obviously to the fandom? What is it going to send? There's no way this is an actual possibility. And now let's talk about Arch Manning's sake. Arch Manning is going to be playing a full season for the first time in his college football career. Now, let's talk about it. Arch Manning's opportunities at Texas have been limited. So, who knows what we're going to see next year when he's playing. But are we sure that he's going to have a great year next year, that he's just going to put himself into the NFL draft? What if you make that move and he doesn't? What if he pulls a Justin Herbert? And for my real Giants fans, y'all know Justin Herbert was supposed to be our quarterback, and he went back to school, and we didn't expect it. Arch Manning could do the same thing. Now, I see a lot of other people saying, hey, Arch Manning can pull an Eli Manning and say, I want to go here. Nobody draft me. If you draft me, I'm not playing for you. Are we sure this is what this guy wants to do? Like, Giants fans, and I understand we're very emotional, are we sure that this is where he wants to be? Look at us right now. We look terrible. We look like a badly run organization. What in the world would make Arch Manning say, yeah, I want to go to the New York Giants? What would make Eli Manning put Arch Manning in a position to say, make sure you come to the Giants, or even wording it however he wants to? And are we sure Peyton Manning has no influence on Arch Manning as well? Could you see, I don't know, Arch Manning go to the Broncos, or obviously they drafted Bo Nix, but my point is Peyton Manning might have a say the same way Eli Manning has a say. And we're sitting here talking about just what Eli can do for Arch Manning. There's got to be some logical thinking when it comes to this, y'all. And once again, for the New York Giants' sake, I want them to get their franchise quarterback. They're going to position themselves this year for the first time in a long time to select the top quarterback in this draft. Obviously, it's only a top 2 race. And if the Giants land with the top 2 picks, they're going to take a quarterback. I don't think there's a situation where they trade out of it. I'm going to be honest. And you're not going to get the king's ransom that you think you're going to get. Remember what the Panthers gave up. They gave up their star wide receiver in DJ Moore. They gave up a first-round pick. They also gave up another second-round pick. They gave up a lot of things that, hey, you might not see that happen from the New York Giants. You might not, especially considering, once again, getting a DJ Moore out of that trade for me was what cemented it all. When you look at other trades that went down with the 49ers trading up to get Trey Lance, other trades that went down in general, you're not expecting that for the New York Giants, and I wouldn't expect it either. So for the New York Giants fans and for everyone that's involved, Arch Manning will look great in blue. He would look great to play on this New York Giants team. Seeing another Manning would be great, but doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to happen. And let's sit on this topic right here. Would passing up on a potential Heisman winning quarterback like Shador or Cam Ward be the smartest decision ever either? I mean, when you look at it for the Bears' sake, when they traded back and didn't trade for Bryce Young was a Heisman winning quarterback, and they decided to stick with Justin Fields. Once again, we do not have a Justin Fields. We have a Drew Lock and a Tommy DeVito that we know are not the guys. Passing up on a Shador that they've done a lot of research on, and it seems like Cam Ward is also going to be a top quarterback heading into this draft. Are they going to be franchise quarterbacks? It's too early to tell. But I would tell you that it looks like the Giants are hell-bent on taking Shador Sanders. It's very early, but they've been doing their research. They've been doing their process. And whether it is Joe Shane or it's not, whether it is Brian Daboll or it's not hard to think that the Giants need a quarterback, and this is the best position they can be for a long time. For a long time. This team has a lot of holes on it. A lot of people are saying, hey, trade back and fill up some of those holes, whether it's DB, whether it's offensive line, whether it's a ton of other positions. The Giants have a lot of holes. Trading back and trying to fill those holes might not be the best thing. And I know a lot of people are saying, hey, fill out the roster first before you get a quarterback. Does that always work out? Does that always work out? The first team I think about is the Indianapolis Colts. For a short stint, when they had a carousel at the quarterback position, they had a Super Bowl ready team, a team that was ready for a quarterback and weren't able to get their quarterback. That puts you in no man's land where you're not able to draft the top quarterback. Can the Giants put themselves in a position to do that? I don't think so. When you look at it with Phillip Rivers, Matt Ryan, they even had Jacoby Brissett. They had a carousel because they felt like their team was ready, but they can never get the quarterback. It's not easy, but I think the Giants need to find themselves a quarterback, then go ahead and fill out the team. And trust me, getting a quarterback is the hardest thing to do in sports. It really is. But if they hit on that, hey, however long it takes to fill out the rest of the roster, let's do it. It's definitely a lot easier when you have the right guy at the quarterback position versus when you do not. So passing up on a top pick like this should not be an option.